Hello, my name is Jason and today we are going to study what is LPDDR SDRAM. First of all, what is the full form of LPDDR SDRAM? Low power, double data rate, synchronous dynamic, random access memory. Here, now basic term, what is the RAM? The question will arise. First, what is a RAM? RAM is a random access memory, one of the most important components in the device from PC to smartphone. The work we process on computer or a mobile is running much slower when we don't use RAM. RAM is an essential device as it is a short-term memory. It is also called as a temporary storage device which runs everything on your PC like if you are using Windows or Mac, in your web browser, image editing tool and gaming. The most common type of RAM is DDR4, older system are DDR3 and DDR2. RAM is basically a storage device. It is a temporary storage device. The things which is stored, like for an example cache memory, is stored in random access memory. When you when the device you shut down or you switch off and when you restart your laptop, PC or computer or mobile, then the memory which is stored in random access will be deleted forever. Here mainly there are two types of RAM, DRAM and SRAM. DRAM is called dynamic RAM. What is a dynamic RAM or what is a DRAM? It uses a capacitor to store information. If any capacitor gets leakage, so the stored information will be lost. To solve this problem, DRAM needs to refresh it, or you can say read and rewrite operation is needed on it at a regular interval of time. The time interval is 2 milliseconds. Then next second, what is an SRAM or static RAM? Static random memory static random access memory. It relies on the static flip-flop to store data. Information stored in SRAM can be retained for a long time without power failure or non-additional circuit refresh is required. Basically, the difference between DRAM and SRAM is like for an example, if you are working on your laptop, computer or mobile, sorry, if you are working on you're working on three, then because of something, the system gets shut off automatically without you are saving the account or saving the data on what you are doing, right? If you are in Microsoft Word, if you are writing, but because of something the battery gets over and laptop gets shut down. So when you reopen or restart the laptop or PC in Word, sometimes when you are using a DRAM, then memory is lost completely. You need to reload, you need to rewrite, and you have to do many things, or you have to rewrite it again. But if you are using SRAM, static RAM, then in a laptop, in a Microsoft Word, there is a chances that it is stored. It is when you open the Microsoft, there you can show the last writing means last capture what you have done. So from that you can open that and start writing from where you have left. There are mainly two types of RAM, but these two types of RAM are further divided in many other RAMs. Like DRAMs are divided in DDR SDRAM, CD-RAM, then SDRAM, then RDRAM, EDRAM, EDO DRAM, FPM DRAM. Then DDR SDRAM are further divided into four: DDR1, DDR2, DDR3, and DDR4. Now, what is an LPDDR? As I told you, LPDDR is low power double data rate. Means LPDDR SDRAM full form is low power double data rate synchronous dynamic random access memory. They are used in the smartphones, tablet, PC applications nowadays. The original low power DDR is slightly modified form of DDR SDRAMs, which are several changes to reduce overall power consumptions. In DDR, there was a more power consumption, but in LPDDR, there is a less power consumption. Why? Because the supply voltage is reduced from 2.5 to 1.8. Additional saving come from a temperature compassionate refresh. Additional chip are smaller and uses less board space than non-mobile relay equivalents. But we can say that DRAMs require to refresh less often at low temperatures. And the chips of SDRAMs are very small. They uses less space on the motherboard. Here are the peak of a chips or a figure of a chips. You can see here. Here written mobile LPDDR2 SDRAM. And here is an LPDDR inner configuration of SDRAM, means inner part of a chip. What is the inner part? How the wires or is connected and where it is connected. It is the inner part of the chip. Then there are totally 6 generations of an LPDDR. First generation LPDDR, LPDDR1 was released in 2008. Its data transfer rate is 333 to 400 MTS. Then voltage it uses 1.2 volt. Then LPDDR2 released in 2010. Data transfer rate 800 to 1066 MT per second. Voltage is again 1.2. Similarly, LPDDR3 2012 1600 to 1866 MT per second. Again, voltage is 1.2. LPDDR4 2014 3 to 00 MT per second. Again, voltage is low by 0.1 voltage, that is 1.1 volt. LPDDR4X. From LPDDR4X, the voltage level has been gradually decreased. As we can see, LPDDR4X in released in 2017 and the data transfer rate is 3200 to 4267 and the voltage is released by half, 0.6 volt. Similarly, LPDDR5 released in just now 2020 6400 MT per second and voltage rate is 0.5 volt. Now it is said that LPDDR5X is expected to be released in 2023. Here is a graph performance of LPDDRs, and here inside of that MB aside behind there is a written 6000 Mbps 5000. It is in speed of the chip that it gives. Now you have a question that what is the difference between DDR and LPDDR? Why LPDDR has come to an market and not we are using DDR now? If we are using DDR, but LPDDR is also being used. The LPDDR and DDR has been comparison is done, differentiated is being done by performance, efficiency, price and upgradability. As we can see that laptop that uses DDR memory run faster than LPDDR counterpart in the benchmark, but LPDDR based laptop will slightly more power efficient. Battery of LPDDR memory would last longer than one with DDR memory. The price of regular DDR memory is also lower compared to LPDDR memory. The smaller size and the higher efficiency increase the price of LPDDR. It is saying that the LPDDR and DDR there is a one difference that LPDDR will of battery of a laptop LPDDR chip, if you are using in a laptop or any other thing, then it will be last longer than DDR memory, means the battery life will be increased compared to DDR memories. Unlike DDR laptop, but the LPDDR4X laptop are not upgradable. As DDR laptop is there, LPDDR4X laptops are also not upgradable, as DDR laptops are also not upgradable. Memory directly soldered on the motherboard. Deal breakers for a lot of people who want a system with upgradable memory. The good things about LPDDR memory is the most of the DDR based laptops come with a multiple memory slot and removable RAM. You can replace the older RAM stick with newer one by yourself. Now, there is a comparison between the LPDDR generations. You can see that the comparison is based on the I/O bus clock frequency, prefetch size, data transfer rate and speed in Mbps, then supply voltage, command or address bus size. You can see LPDDR1 I/O bus clock is 200 MHz, in LPDDR2 400 MHz, LPDDR3 800, then 1600 and 3200 MHz. Till now there is a 3200 MHz I/O bus clock frequency. Prefetch size. Prefetch size in LPDDR1 is 2 byte, in LPDDR2 4 to 2 byte, LPDDR3 is 8, in DDR4, LPDDR4 16, and LPDDR5 32 to 16 bits. Right? The data transfer rate, as we have seen earlier, this is the following: 400, 800, 1600, 3200, 6400 MT per second. Then supply voltage, as I told you that it is gradually been decreased in DDR5. You can see that LPDDR1 1.8, 2 1.2 1.8, 3 1.2 1.8, 4 1.4 1.1 1.8, and in 5.5 1.05 1.8 it is there. And here there is not mention about LPDDR4X, that supply voltage is also 0.6. Right? The command or address bus size we see in the various generations, that is LPDDR1 16 bits, the SDR, then LPDDR2 10 bits DDR. SDR DDR is somewhat same only. SDR means single data rate and DDR means double data rate. In LPDDR1 there is single data rate now of 19 bits. Then from LPDDR2 there you can see that there is a DDR rate, so DDR only. So 10 bit in LPDDR2, 10 bit in LPDDR3, and 6 bits in LPDDR4. And there is only DDR in LPDDR5. Now basic question will come in your mind, that which generation of LPDDR is the best. Means in market there is a news of LPDDR4X. It compresses a little on the operation speed in order to save some power. LPDDR4X is currently the most widely used LPDDR memory, while LPDDR5 is only supported in high-end smartphone SoCs like Exynos 990 and Snapdragon 865 or N865 Plus. In laptop segment, AMD and Intel are expected to support LPDDR5 memory sometimes in late 2021 or early 2022. Now, from here you will be clear that what is the use of LPDDR and DDR memory chips. I hope that you could understand. For this, I will provide you the PowerPoint presentation of this in the below. Thank you.